Cancel culture is on its last legs, and you can thank the people who refuse to bow to the woke mob. These are some of the public figures cancel culture couldn't silence. Riley Gaines was a standout swimmer at the University of Kentucky who became a target of the woke mob for defending women's sports. In March 2022, she tied with transgender swimmer Leah Thomas for 5th place in a national championship race, but NCAA officials gave the transgender swimmer the only 5th place trophy and told Riley she'd receive one later.
Get out of the water, go behind the awards podium. The NCAA official looks at both Thomas and myself. Thomas, who is towering over me, right, 6'4", and this official looks at both of us and says, "Great job, you two. But you tied, and we only have one trophy, so we're gonna give the trophy to Leah." But this official looked at me and said, "Riley, I am so sorry, but we have been advised as an organization that when photos are being taken, it's crucial that the trophy's in Leah's hands. Again, you can pose with this one, but you have to give yours back. Leah takes the trophy home. You go home empty-handed, end of story. We can eventually mail you one."
Oh my God.
Is what they said.
Gaines also reported that Thomas exposed themselves in the women's locker room, a preventable situation that only happened because the NCAA required gender-neutral facilities. Progressive activists and the fake news media smeared her as transphobic, and even Olympic icon Simone Biles joined in. In June 2025, Biles lashed out, calling Gaines truly sick and a straight-up sore loser, all for defending women's sports. Yet Gaines never backed down. She reminded everyone that this fight wasn't just about one lost race, it was about fairness and safety for female athletics. After graduation, she became an outspoken advocate for keeping biological males out of female athletic competitions. In April 2023, radical protesters attacked Gaines during a speech at San Francisco University, trapping her into a room for nearly 3 hours. Though shaken, she refused to be silenced, vowing to speak the truth no matter the intimidation. In 2024, she and more than a dozen other college women filed a Title IX lawsuit against the NCAA, arguing their rights were violated by being forced to compete against a male athlete. In July 2025, the U.S. Education Department under President Trump sided with her cause, ruling that the University of Pennsylvania violated Title IX by allowing Leah Thomas to compete. UPenn was ordered to strip Thomas of their titles and records and debar future transgender athletes from women's teams. The attempt to cancel her completely backfired. Riley Gaines came out stronger than ever, as she told the NCAA what's happening is criminal, and she's not stopping until fairness is restored. Country music star Jason Aldean got a crash course in cancel culture in 2023, and it turned it into the biggest success of his career. In July 2023, Aldean released a music video using real footage of riots, looting, and attacks on police, a simple message that this kind of chaos wouldn't fly in small-town America. Liberal activists and the fake news accused Aldean of racism, all because he dared to show real clips of violence. Within days, country music television CMT caved and pulled the video from rotation after critics claimed it was offensive. Even fellow artists like Sheryl Crow joined in, trying to paint Aldean as an extremist. But if the cancel mob thought Jason Aldean would back down, they misjudged him and his fans completely. At his very next concert, Aldean took the stage and addressed the controversy head on.
Here's what I want to say. A lot of things out there, and one thing I love, you guys know how it is this day and age, cancel culture is a thing. That's something that if people don't like what you say, they try and make sure that they can cancel you, which means try and ruin your life, ruin everything. One thing I saw this week was a bunch of country music fans that could see through a lot of the bullshit, all right?
The attempted cancellation backfired spectacularly. In just 1 week, it sold 228,000 digital copies, the biggest sales week for a country single in over a decade, while streams skyrocketed by 547%, hitting more than 11 million new plays. The controversy turned Try That in a Small Town into a cultural anthem. Even President Trump praised it as a
great new song. Support Jason all the way. MAGA.
Far from being destroyed, Aldean was completely vindicated. By April 2024, Nashville quietly welcomed welcomed him back. CMT invited him to perform at its award show, forced to swallow its pride as the song's success became impossible to ignore. As Axios put it, the backlash itself is what propelled Aldean to the pinnacle of popular music. Jason Aldean's story proves that cancel culture doesn't work in small-town America or for millions of country fans who refuse to be told what to think. Beloved comedian Tim Allen found out in 2017 that even being an A-list TV star doesn't protect you from Hollywood's political bias. At the time, Allen was starring in Last Man Standing, a popular sitcom on ABC where he played a conservative dad. The show was a ratings winner, averaging over 8 million viewers a week, making it ABC's #2 comedy show. But Allen himself is one of the rare open Republicans in Hollywood, and he cracked one too many jokes about the industry's groupthink.
To the presidential inauguration, right?
I was invited by, we did a VIP thing for the vets and went to the Veterans Ball, and so I went to go see the Democrats and Republicans. Yeah, I went to the inauguration. It was
I'm not attacking you.
You get in this town. I'm not kidding. You got to be real careful around here. You know, you get beat up. If you don't believe what everybody believes, this is like 30s Germany. I don't know what happened.
The comment was obviously tongue-in-cheek, but outrage prevailed. 2 months later, despite strong ratings, ABC abruptly canceled Last Man Standing after 6 seasons. Allen tweeted in May 2017 that he was stunned and blindsided by the network I called home for the last 6 years. Fans were furious and suspected rightly that Allen's politics played a role. ABC's entertainment president Shannon Dungy insisted the cancellation was purely a business decision, citing schedule changes. A petition to save the show garnered over 100,000 signatures, arguing Last Man Standing appealed to Americans who rarely see their values on TV. For a year, it looked like Tim Allen had been canceled for good, but in a twist worthy of a sitcom plot, Allen got the last laugh. In May 2018, Fox Broadcasting revived Last Man Standing for a 7th season, openly admitting they were emboldened by the huge success of the Roseanne reboot on ABC. Sure enough, when Last Man Standing returned on Fox that fall, it premiered to over 8 million viewers and a 1.8 demo rating, a monster hit by modern standards. By bringing it back, Fox tactically confirmed that ABC's cancellation had been agenda-driven. The lesson: you can't keep a good man down, especially not a good man with a good punchline. Actress and MMA fighter Gina Carano was riding high as a fan favorite on Disney's The Mandalorian until her conservative opinions made her a target. Her cancel saga began in late 2020 when Carano dared to poke fun at the woke mob's obsession with pronouns. She jokingly put beep bop boop in her Twitter bio instead of preferred pronouns, explaining it was a stand against bullying after being hounded by activists. The outrage machine immediately branded her as transphobic for that. Carano also voiced concerns about election integrity and COVID lockdowns, views shared by millions of Americans but clearly not allowed in Hollywood. The final straw came in February 2021 when she reposted an image warning how governments turn neighbors against each other, bluntly comparing political demonization to events in Nazi Germany. But her point was clear: hatred of people for their beliefs is wrong. And Disney didn't care. Lucasfilm fired Carano on February 10th, 2021, calling her social media posts abhorrent and unacceptable. She was dropped by her talent agency that same day. The hashtag #FireGinaCarano mob on Twitter celebrated. They had seemingly killed her career overnight. Carano, however, refused to grovel or apologize. "They can't cancel us if we don't let them," she said defiantly. She soon teamed with the Daily Wire to develop new projects, determined to keep working. In early 2024, Gina struck back with a wrongful termination lawsuit against Disney and Lucasfilm, alleging viewpoint discrimination. Notably, Elon Musk helped fund her case as a part of an effort to fight cancel culture in court. Disney's lawyers tried to get the suit dismissed, arguing the company had a First Amendment right to disassociate from Carano's opinions. But a judge disagreed and let Carano's case proceed. Facing embarrassing discovery and bad PR, Disney ultimately opted to settle. In August 2025, Carano announced she had reached a confidential settlement with Disney, and the terms were a jaw-dropper. Disney reversed its prior stance and issued a statement praising Carano. Ms. Carano was always well respected by her directors, co-stars, and staff. She treated colleagues with kindness and respect. With this lawsuit concluded, we look forward to identifying opportunities to work together with Ms. Carano in the near future. She didn't bend the knee, and in the end, the very company that tried to cancel her effectively begged for peace and hinted at rehiring her. If that isn't a victory against cancel culture, nothing is. Trevor Bauer was one of baseball's elite pitchers, a Cy Young Award winner, until a false accusation nearly ended his career. In mid-2021, a San Diego woman alleged Bauer had assaulted her during consensual encounters, launching a media frenzy. Even though no criminal charges were filed, the LA District Attorney declined to prosecute. Major League Baseball rushed to punish him. In April 2022, MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred hit Bauer with a record 324-game suspension, the harshest penalty ever issued under the league's domestic violence policy. By the time an independent arbiter finally reviewed the case in late 2022, it was clear the MLB had overreached. The arbiter reinstated Bauer immediately and slashed the suspension by 130 games, a rebuke to Manfred's hasty punishment. But damage was surely done. Bauer's team, the LA Dodgers, released him in January 2023, despite still owing him $22.5 million. No other MLB club would touch him. He was effectively blacklisted from the league, and Bauer's response? Refused to be canceled and take his talent elsewhere. Unable to get a fair shot in the US, he went overseas and dominated. In 2023, Bauer signed with the Yokohama D-Na Baystars in Japan and quickly proved he was still elite, winning 10 games and posting one of the best pitching records in the league. The next year, he pitched for the Diablos Rojas in the Mexican League and was unstoppable, winning every single game and earning the league's Pitcher of the Year award. Off the field, he fought a legal battle to clear his name. In 2023, he and his accuser mutually agreed to drop their lawsuits with no money exchanged, hardly the outcome if he were guilty. Then, in June 2025, a Los Angeles judge awarded Bauer a default judgment of $309,832 after that same woman violated the settlement terms by spreading more lies. The court found 22 breaches of their agreement and ordered her to pay up. Bauer was finally able to say he'd won a measure of justice. He was never arrested or criminally charged, and he maintained his innocence throughout the whole thing. On September 12, 2019, Saturday Night Live announced 3 new cast members for season 45, Bowen Yang, Chloe Fineman, and Shane Gillis. Within hours of this announcement, old clips from Shane's podcast started circulating on social media. Jokes about Chinese people, Judd Apatow, and Andrew Yang. The clips were circulated by journalist Seth Simmons, and before long, SNL fired him. Shane responded simply, "I'm a comedian who pushes boundaries. I sometimes miss. If you go through my 10 years of comedy, most of it bad, you're gonna find a lot of bad misses. I'm happy to apologize to anyone who's actually offended by anything I've said. My intention is never to hurt anyone, but I'm trying to be the best comedian I can be, and sometimes that requires risks." Years later, he finally got to tell his side on the biggest podcast in the world, The Joe Rogan Experience. He explained what really happened, shared details from the meetings with Lorne Michaels, and made a joke that completely flew over Rogan's head, and honestly, that's one of the best moments of that whole interview.
So I get all that stuff comes out. And it was funny. This is funny. I went into Lorne Michaels' office, and he was talking, and I was convinced I was getting fired. Like, I knew I was getting fired. Because if they didn't get me on that, there's so much more. So much worse. And so he was talking to me, and he was like, "No, we think we can." He's like, "If we just get you to the first episode, like, people will see you're not a piece of shit person.
Right.
Like, just talk." And I was like, "Whatever, I'll do. If I get fired here, whatever, I'll just go do Joe Rogan next week and I'll be fine." Anyway, I thought that was funny. No?
What?
I was like, I literally...
Is that what you thought?
I literally thought that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought it would be funny.
Well, it could have been funny.
Yeah.
I was booked up, though.
No, it was fine. It was just funny to truly... That was a conversation I actually had.
Really?
While Shane was taking it in stride, NBC executives were busy patting themselves on the back. Company president Paul Tegedy bragged about how quickly they'd acted. Years later, Lorne Michaels told the Wall Street Journal what really happened. It wasn't his decision at all. The call to fire Shane came straight from NBC's top brass. While Hollywood tried to blacklist him, Shane built his own empire, directly with his fans. Matt and Shane's secret podcast went from just 35 patrons in 2017 to over 1,000 by mid-2019 and more than 8,000 in 2020. When he dropped his self-funded YouTube special live in Austin in September 2021, it exploded. 1.2 million views in just 2 weeks, over 40 million by 2025, and more than 500,000 likes. Then came the full circle moment. On February 24th, 2024, Shane Gillis returned to Saturday Night Live, not to apologize, but to host. The episode delivered one of SNL's best ratings of the season, up 0.11 points from the week before. He returned returned again in March 2025, and both times he absolutely killed it. Cancel culture tried to destroy him, instead it turned him into one of the biggest comedians in the world, and Shane Gillis got the last laugh. Video game developer Scott Cawthon, the man behind the mega hit Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, committed the worst crime imaginable in the eyes of the woke mob. He donated to conservative politicians. In June 2021, activists dug up public records showing Cawthon had made personal contributions to people like Donald Trump, Mitch McConnell, and Ben Carson. That was all it took. Despite Cawthon's games being adored by millions, including many LGBTQ fans, a wave of vicious attacks descended. Twitter activists branded him as a bigot overnight. His family's home address was doxed online, leading to death threats, so much that his pregnant wife slept in fear for their safety. All this because I exercised my right and my duty as an American citizen to vote for the candidates I felt could best run the country. And that's something that I won't apologize for. Outlets like Game Rant and Kotaku ran hit pieces suggesting his conservative views harmed his LGBTQ players. Essentially, they tried to cancel a man for peacefully supporting his preferred candidates. Under immense pressure, Cawthon made a bittersweet decision. On June 17, 2021, he told fans he was stepping down at age 43 from the series he had created. But importantly, he did not backtrack on his beliefs. In a statement to the community, Cawthon proudly affirmed, "I am a Christian, pro-life Republican," adding that he also believes in equality and science. Thousands of FNAF fans rallied to his defense with hashtag #IStandWithScott trending in support. Today, Five Nights at Freddy's continues under new leadership Cawthon selected, and the franchise thrives, including a 2023 Hollywood film that me and my son love. In the end, the mob didn't get the groveling mea culpa they wanted. Cawthon walked away on his terms, unbroken and unrepentant. Rob Schneider is a veteran comedian who's never been shy about his views, and that put a target on his back. As far back as 2012, Schneider spoke out against a California vaccine mandate bill, warning against government overreach. The media sneered at him as anti-vax, and a few years later, the consequences hit. In 2014, State Farm Insurance dropped a popular TV ad campaign featuring Schneider after pressure from pro-vaccine activists. Essentially, a comedian was punished for having a nuanced view on medical freedom. Schneider fired back by quoting George Washington on free speech, implying his First Amendment rights were being trampled. That early brush with cancel culture only hardened Rob's resolve. In the years following, he became increasingly outspoken against what he saw as insanity. He criticized COVID-19 lockdowns and mandates and mocked woke absurdities in his stand-up. He also found an ally in Fox Nation, which in 2023 released his comedy special Woke Up in America. In it, Schneider takes direct aim at cancel culture, proving he's far from silenced. And intriguingly, the more establishment Hollywood shuns him, the more ordinary Americans rally behind him. Schneider says he's been approached by countless fans thanking him for being a rare voice of sanity. Bottom line, they tried to box him out, but he walked around it. Hollywood may try to blacklist him, but there will always be a lane for Rob Schneider. No one has had a wilder ride with cancel culture than Roseanne Barr. In the late 1980s, she was a groundbreaking comedian who made America laugh at working-class family life.
I hate that word, housewife. I prefer to be called domestic goddess. I feel it's more descriptive.
By 2018, she was leading the #1 show on television, the smash hit revival of Roseanne, which drew over 18 million viewers in its premiere. But a single ill-fated tweet brought it all crashing down overnight. On May 29th, 2018, being her outspoken self, she tweeted a joke about former Obama advisor Valerie Jarrett, comparing her to a mix of the Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes. Within hours, ABC president Channing Dungey announced Roseanne's show was canceled, calling her tweet abhorrent, repugnant, and inconsistent with our values. And just like that, the top sitcom in the country was gone. Roseanne herself was fired, and the network even erased her existence by rebooting the show as The Connors, killing off her character via an off-screen opioid overdose.
I just got a call from a friend in the coroner's office. The autopsy found that it wasn't a heart attack. Roseanne OD'd on opioids.
Not possible. We knew she had a problem.
It was cultural execution. Barr apologized repeatedly, saying the tweet was a bad joke made at 2 a.m. while on Aldean. But Hollywood exiled her with glee. This was seen as the ultimate cancel culture scalp. But Roseanne is nothing if not a fighter. In 2022, she started touring small comedy clubs to work on new material away from the spotlight. And in February 2023, she made a triumphant return with a Fox Nation stand-up special called Cancel This. In it, Barr unapologetically roasted the people who tried tried to destroy her.
Yeah, I guess they thought they shut me up, but guess what? Anyway.
It was a hit on the streaming platform and reminded everyone that her comedic voice is singular. Empowered, Roseanne plotted her next move, creating a new sitcom without the networks. In early 2025, she revealed she's written a new dark comedy series loosely based on her life on a farm in Hawaii. It's silly and it's out there, she said excitedly, describing the family that saves America with guns, the Bible, petty crime, and alcoholism. Basically a rowdier version of the Connors. I'd like to get paid handsomely to bring another fucking network back from doom, as I've done twice for ABC. If the networks balk, Roseanne says she'll self-produce and put it in her own website because nothing is going to stop her from telling this story. In interviews, Roseanne has remained defiant. She still insists she was misunderstood and overpunished, and frankly, many people agree. In the years since her firing, the cultural conversation has shifted. People see how one bad tweet can be weaponized to erase someone's entire career, and there's growing discomfort with that. Roseanne Barr's journey from canceled pariah back to creative force is essentially the story of cancel culture's rise and fall. They come for your livelihood, but cannot take your talents or your beliefs.